Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you today. This is going to be a lengthy video, I think. We're going to be talking about a few different things. First of all, answering one of the questions you guys asked me a lot: where do I buy my knives? We're going to do that first. Then we're going to unbox this one. You probably already know what it is from the title. And then I'm going to do a disassembly, a scale swap, a whole bunch of stuff with it. I've never handled one of these before. It's as you can see, it's a Hinderer. It is the only Hinderer model I think I've never actually handled. The only modern Hinderer I've never actually handled. So I'm excited to get my hands on this. But first of all, let's talk about, guys ask where I buy my knives. Well, mostly at the companies you see me, pimp sponsor codes to: White Mountain Knives, Southern Edge Knife Works. All those links to all those codes are down below. But when I want to find something weird, or rare, one of the first places, especially American made, one of the first places I look is southernedges.com. Mike, pretty much one-man shop, great guy. He has just an amazing selection of stuff that's really hard to find. The first one I got from him was, I was looking for a SOCOM Elite. I did a video about this, and I mentioned them in that video as well. But it took me 14 months to find a Tanto Stonewash Black. It took me forever. He just had one in stock. I got my Heretic from there as well, through them anyway. And if you want weird microtechs, not even weird, just like kind of ones you can't find anywhere else, go there. They have a whole bunch of different brands. They have a whole bunch of Brian Ty stuff. I'm looking on the site now to make sure I don't forget. Terrain 365, Chris Reeve, great place to find Chris Reeves that everybody else has out of stock. Protex, all kinds of Hinderers. Marfione Customs, the higher end microtechs, just all kinds of stuff. They have a page with new arrivals. Go check that out. Just go check them out. I did get a slight discount on this because it's discontinued, and he really appreciated when I mentioned him in the Microtech SOCOM video. They sold a bunch of stuff that week, so it's a very slight discount. But this is something that I really have wanted for a really long time. I have never touched one before, and as a Hinderer guy, I feel like I kind of should. It is a quasi discontinued model. I guess it is just discontinued at the moment, but they may make more, but not in this titanium the way they do it now. At least that was his last public statement on it. Rick said, if we do any more full tracks, this full track S35VN, they won't be titanium, because I guess it's a nightmare of machining. So working finish red G10. It's not going to stay red G10 for very long, but let's get this thing open. Like I said, we'll do a little, ooh, it's right on top. Yeah, that's a bulky one. Let's see when this one was made. It is a tri-way pivot, so it's got the other stuff. Where's the assembly card? Oh, there's your Southern Edges information. So go check them out there. I will link to it down below as well. Got the usual sticker. Kim, a lot of my knives are assembled by Kim Johnson. Oh, there's no date on it. For some reason I thought there was a date on those. I'm probably just remembering wrong. Now let's get this sucker out of the plastic. I have never ever handled a full track before, ever. Well, it sure is pretty. He still has 2 of these available. These have been out of production since 2019. And I will say, at the time that I'm recording this, there are 2 available still on the website. The red one like this, but stonewash. And then there's like one that's kind of all blue. Action's pretty darn good out of the box. Yeah, people said the ergos on these were really good. They were not lying. They are very, very good. Yeah, I like this. Kind of funny story how I wound up getting one. Like, I always wanted one, and then they just came out with a new XM24 sheep's foot, which, by the way, Southern Edges has a bunch of those too. Those are pretty widely available right now because they just came out. And I was watching USA Made Blades' little comparison video, and I saw that this is actually a little bit shorter than an XM24. And it reminded me that I went there to watch the video because I was going to order a sheep's foot XM24, and then that video kind of reminded me that these existed. Went to Southern Edges to check them out, and sure enough, they had 3 of them in stock. So that's why I got this one. Yeah, really neat. I like it a lot. We're going to do a little bit of a disassembly here because one of the party tricks of this, now I've never done this before, so let's see how it works. Yeah, it's got the tool right in it to take the whole thing apart. So we're going to try that out. So now what, you spring it? Yep. Oh, wow, that's super easy. No rattle. Yeah, I'm liking that. Liking that a lot. S35VN, this was kind of before they switched mostly over to 20CV, so unsurprising there. I'm fine with that. S35VN's darn good steel. Action's pretty great. We're going to take it apart and mess with it, though, just because we can, because they gave me the tool, so this is all Rick's fault. Let's do some specs really quick. So these are not inexpensive. They are $595, same price as an XM24. Rick said publicly that one of the reasons why they're not making them anymore is he said it should have been $895 with the amount of milling and stuff that goes on. Apparently there's like a hidden pocket inside that you can put the washers and things in. And it's got its own tool. There's a lot going on with this thing. So yeah, I can understand that. There was mention once of maybe doing an aluminum version, but I don't think he's going to do that anymore. So right now these are just discontinued. And every time I've asked him if they're ever coming back, he kind of just doesn't answer me in that sort of way of, yeah, there's no current plans to do it. But it is a really super cool knife. And like I said, there's still 2 available, and they're pretty widely available on the secondary market. They made a fairly significant amount of them. But specs, let's get back to that. Blade length is 3 3/4 inches. Overall length, 8.9 inches. I'm reading this off from the 8.875 inches, want to be exact. I'm reading this off of the Southern Edges website. And weight of 6.85 ounces. We can verify that. We have a scale for that. And I got my calipers here too. We'll take some other measurements. And we'll compare it a little bit to the XM24 because that was kind of what my thought process was when I got this. So I've got, yeah, 6.95 ounces. Close enough. And do some little measurements here before we get to the disassembly and the scale swapping and all that fun stuff. Blade thickness, yeah, 0.165, so that's more like XM18 than XM24. And handle thickness at the thickest point is probably right about here. Yeah, 0.55. It's not that thick. Everybody's seen it was really, really meaty. I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, it's a big knife for sure, but it's not a giant. Let's bring out some other Hinderers. We have the half track, which obviously is its kind of stablemate, much smaller. This is a Warncliffe USA made blade exclusive one. And then we'll bring out the XM24, the big one. So yeah, you can see it is a little bit shorter than an XM24. We'll bring out the XM18 real quick, and then I will take some measurements on the 24 to kind of, you know, compare them. This is a no choil DLT one, or no flipper DLT one. God, I always get no choil and no flipper. I can never say that correct. Yeah, it is kind of halfway between them. But in thicknesses, we've got 0.165. Yeah, so you got 0.184 or so. We'll move up here a little bit, or the proper spot, and the thickest spot. Yeah, 0.18-ish. And then handle thickness is also a little thicker, yeah, let's just call that 0.6. So yeah, a little thinner handle, a little thinner blade. Guessing, if I remember correctly, it's much more similar in thicknesses to the XM18 than it is to the 24. Yeah, same blade thickness, roughly same handle thickness. It might be just a little bit thicker than an XM18 in the handle. That's kind of surprising. I was kind of expecting the handle just to be a little bit thicker. But yeah, this is the working finish. I obviously like the working finish a lot. A lot of my Hinderers have the working finish. I think it looks cool, and it is a working finish, so it doesn't go crappy. You don't get scratches, which I think is really nice. It's nice to have a knife that's already beat up out of the box, so you don't have to worry about beating it up yourself. The only like aftermarket Hinderer hardware you're probably gonna find for this is the pocket clip. There's a few little bits for Full Tracks. I mean, I managed to find scales on DLT. You'll see I'm going to do a scale swap shortly. These red ones actually look really, really good. Probably was a waste of money to get the scales that I got, but I'm going to do it anyway because I bought them. And I'm going to send these scales off to Sharp Dressed Knives along with a XM18 skinny scale so that he can prototype and start making scales for Full Tracks and XM18 skinnies. So you are welcome, Knife World. I'm going to send mine off so that he can do that because I want some carbon ones, I think, for this. I just want some plain marble carbon. I think that would look really cool. But yeah, let's bring out the mat and let's start taking this thing apart. So, wow, my mat's very dirty. Yeah, action's pretty good so far. It's not particularly drop shutty, but the detent's really good. And we're going to put it to the test. They say you can just use this tool, so let's do it. Let's just use this tool to take it apart. I'm just going to use that, and then I'm going to get out some KPL, the heavy and the regular. A little, I don't remember where oh yeah, I got this from a sponsor of our old comedy, their old, well, it's still going on, the comedy podcast. It's kind of on hiatus because of all the virus stuff, but some alcohol to clean some stuff off. Let's start taking this sucker apart. Actually, you know, let's just do this scale swap first. I'm just going to do that because I want to see what it's going to look like. Maybe you guys will want to see that more than, so it should. Yep, that's the right size. And I want to see this alleged mini pocket in here. I did not know anything about that until after I ordered this. I was watching a Daddy-O EDC video from back in the day, and he mentioned it. Should have put my reading glasses on, and I did not. And they're not even within reach. That's the way that my life works. So yes, I did get some different scales. I got them from DLT, but they are Hinderer scales. Yeah, look at that. There is a little pocket in there. Cool. So you can take the, if you want to, I think they might rattle around a bit, so I'm not going to do it. But yeah, if you want to have your spare washers, you can just throw them in there. That's pretty awesome. Or maybe you could put a very tiny amount of an illicit substance in there, allegedly. But let's get the scales that I got. So instead of the red, I have a set of these for the XM18 as well too that I haven't used. But yeah, these are the red or the blue-black, you know, red, blue-black scales. I just think they look awesome. I've always liked that pattern. Well, these, there we go. Thought they weren't fitting for a second. They have to go in a certain way. So we'll swap these out first. Thinking I'm going to take the pocket clip off, and unless they did something different on the other side, well, come on now. There we go. Did they put different? They did. They thought ahead. I'll explain when I flip it over there. Because normally on the pocket clip and on the filler tabs, they have XM18s and XM24s and everything has Phillips heads on there. So I'm going to push a little bit to get them to bite, but yep. There we go. Now I'll take the pocket clip off. Yeah, you can, so far, do everything with this tool, but I'm not doing anything complicated yet. So let's see. This is going to be a very long video title. It'll be like my secret dealer XM24 unboxing, disassembly, and scale swap. I don't know what I'm going to title it yet. I'm going to have to have a think-see about that one. All right. Pop this in there. As you can see, swapping the scales. Very, very easy. This is right hand tip up only, which I'm personally fine with because I am right-handed and a fan of tip up carry. But if you are neither of those things, that may be a bother to you. I'll bring out Yo Levi's here in a minute too and see how this thing's going to carry, but this G10 isn't super aggressive. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but that is part of the reason why I am sending these scales off to Sharp Dressed Knives, because I want some smooth carbon just to make it easier to get in out of the pocket. And it looks pretty. He has some gorgeous marbled carbon from Fat Carbon that just looks great. It's just, oh, dropped my tool there. It just looks really good. And I use his scales on a lot of things. And I think they're doing so many skinny XM18s right now, I think it would be good for him to have some scales to prototype for that, so you guys can get skinny XM18 scales for him. So here we go. Look, I like how the pivot is. That's pretty cool. It's got a little sunken spot. I don't know if you can see that in the camera for this unique tool. No special Hinderer Armorer's tool required. I do have that, but I'm not going to need it on this. Let's open the knife up first. That would make life a lot easier. No, I did not tape the blade on this time. I'm taking my life in my own hands. Leave me alone, Dad. I'll be fine. I just like that this tool is part of the knife. I can see why this is discontinued because of the cost of making it. It could not have been cheap, but it's pretty freaking neat, I do have to say. And yes, I did just intentionally use the word neat because it's the best way to describe this. It's just neat. There we go. That one was almost on the edge of me having to grab a set of pliers or something. Put that up there. Cool. Now let's pop her open. Super easy. Bearings are facing the way that I like them. I always like the caged side to be facing towards the blade. That's just kind of a personal preference thing. I don't know if it makes a huge difference or not, but I always flop them around if my knives don't have that on it. This thing looks clean as a whistle, so this is probably a complete waste of time, but there's no lube on it whatsoever, which is not uncommon for Hinderers to be that way. We'll do a little, spill a little alcohol. It's not a crime because it's in the interest of cleaning. I don't know how well this cloth is actually going to work for cleaning stuff, but I don't know. It's got a little smiley face with a teardrop, and I think it's from Bad Drip. I just remember the name of the company. I couldn't think of it for a minute. They make vape stuff. So I'll put Mr. Smiley away. Oh wait, I wanted to get the pivot and stuff first. Yeah, there's a little bit of dirt came off the bearings. Just a little bit. No, it actually came off the pivot. A little bit came off the pivot. Nothing to worry about. I'm just going to take the pivot out here because it's easy to line back up again. Sometimes I don't take the pivot all the way out because it's a pain in the butt to line it back up again, but this one looks pretty freaking easy. So clean off the stop pin because I don't know why. Yeah, it looks like the only dirt in it was on the pivot. Clean off the detemp ball because I'm going to put some of the KPL heavy on there. Almost 20 minutes in here. Honestly, that's not as long as I thought this video was going to be. We had a lot to cover today, and it's Friday. What else do you have to do? Put one bearing back in, a regular KPL on it. Just a couple little drips. You don't need a ton. And I just kind of usually rub off the excess on the actual pivot. I'm going to take the KPL heavy and just put a little drop of it on the pivot. So the heavy is much thicker, so it'll stick here, which is nice. I'm being very careful because I often put too much of this on here and then I wipe it back off and do it all over again. That's on the edge of too much, but we're going to accept it. Now put the blade back on, making sure I have it orientated correctly. I hate it when people say orientated. we go. I guess I can put these scales away, eh? Those are going to go off in the mail. Okay, that's the regular, yes, not the heavy. Those are going to go off in the mail very quickly to Sharp Dress Knives because I want fancy scales. He's pretty quick turnaround. Last time I had him do customs, only took him like 3 weeks. That was for another Hinderer, for the Jurassic. That one, I said I wanted Jurassic scales, and he thought, and I said I'd send him my Jurassic, and he thought that was a good excuse to buy himself a Jurassic. So there's customer service for you. Went out and bought a $425 knife just because I said I wanted some scales. I think he just wanted one. We've all used excuses like that, haven't we? My favorite excuse is it's for the channel. This is definitely not for the channel. By the way, I do want to thank all of my patrons. If you guys have stuck around this long, you probably are patrons. That this is the reason why I have this knife, because you guys give me, I call it my effort money. My Patreon money at the end of the month is my effort money. And sometimes I get stuff that's just for me. A lot of times I do get stuff that's for the channel, but if I'm going to spend $600 pretty much on a knife that's just for me, could not do that without you guys. So no, I did not Loctite anything. Before anybody mentions in the comments, it'll be fine. Never had a problem with a Hinderer losing a screw or anything. Normally on Hinderers, you tighten those down pretty good. So I'm just going to do that. Yeah, blade centering's back. See if we can maybe back that off just a little bit. I just backed it off like 1/8 of a turn. There we go. Yeah, that's going to break in nicely. Sometimes the working finish blades take a hot minute for the detent ball to wear into that finish. But yeah, I'm a happy lad so far. See how it carries. Yield. Yeah, a little bit of a on there. We'll fix that with some smooth scales. But it's not horrible. Definitely can get it in. Yeah, pretty significant pocket pecker. It does feel bigger in the pocket than the XM24. Let's make sure I'm not misremembering things. Grab the 24. Yeah, definitely. It definitely feels bigger in the pocket than the XM24 does, even though it's a smaller knife. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, though. I'm happy with my purchase. I've always wanted to handle one of these. Is it something I'm going to keep forever? I don't know. But right now, I'm really liking it. And it's, you know, I know a lot of you guys do come to this channel for Hinderer content because I review a whole lot of Hinderers. Oh, can't forget to put the tool back in. And I've never had a full track, so it seemed kind of dumb that it seemed like something I should just have. And I've always kind of wanted to handle one. So yeah, I said this was just for me with my effort money, but it is kind of partly for the channel. I do have somewhat of a justification for it. But yeah, pretty cool knife. I hope he makes more of them. Just charge the $900, Rick, and make them. I can totally see why it costs that much. I totally get it. That's a lot of machine work done in that thing. You have that little hidden pocket inside. You have it comes with its own tool. Yeah, make them at least like, yeah, come out and make them 700, 750, something like that. I think people would still buy them. Hope you guys have enjoyed this fairly long video. And yeah, go check out southernedges.com. I have no discount code or anything like that. Just go check him out if you're trying to find some stuff that's just kind of hard to find. He's got lots of really cool brands and lots of stuff that you think is out of stock forever, but he's actually got a couple of them. And tell Mike I said hi. Talk to you guys later. I've been Brian. Have a good one.